doing a meditation video, right?
And this is what we heard right now.
Are they demanding Jesus leave? Or
and we got really spooked. We wanted to kind of add some commentary because our whole theme of the meditation was about liberation, and it made me kind of think of like the oppressive spiritual forces that are in this world. I mean, the thing is, it's an unexplained noise. We live in the city. It could be just cars, it could be anything,
And
but
more than likely is. There's a difference between being able to hear something and saying, this reminds me of a spiritual condition,
yeah,
and saying, this is a spiritual condition.
because we honestly don't know.
We're all going through a quarantine right now.
Yeah.
And that's not easy on anyone. Because that's not easy on anyone, people are probably just losing it at this point. And
are driving like maniacs.
Driving around like maniacs and like yelling things.
And that's just another manifestation of evil at work. I mean, just people being hateful and angry and frustrated, everything. I will say this, out of all the time I've been in this city, it is the city of noises. I've never heard anything like that before. Ultimately, we don't know. It probably is a car, but what I thought that it was important to talk about because, I don't know, it made me think of like Saint Michael, and it made me think of like, just really like helped me dive into like what we were talking about in the meditation of like Jesus casting out demons and like, you know, liberating people.
I love the CUB translation. I'm throwing them out.
Yeah,
like,
throwing out the demons.
Yeah.
It's like, I just thought that it was like a cool thing for us to like, to talk about.
We live in Chicago. We have not the most spacious of places to live in. It's not like we can just go out to our yard.
Isn't there like a Cards Against Humanity card that's like, what's that sound?
Yes,
It was like, what's that sound?
Have you ever heard of A Game for Good Christians?
You've told me about that.
Everyone should play that game.
I'll put an Amazon link to it below. It made me think of like the imagery of like Saint Michael the Archangel casting the devil down from heaven.
Michael is my patron.
Yeah, Michael's his patron.
I love there's paintings of Saint Michael where it looks like he's doing you used to do it with your friends sometimes. You mess with him and be like, you flenched, like
just
where he's
like,
like sort of punched the devil. So there's a story where Jesus encounters a demoniac, which is someone that's been possessed. These unclean spirits say, don't send us back to Hades, don't send us back to Sheol or to Hades or whatever, however it's translated. But they say, don't like cast us into the abyss, is what they say.
Yeah.
And Jesus says, the time has not come for that. They beg him instead to send them into these, it says this herd of swine. And as soon as they go into these pigs, they actually drive the pigs crazy. And the pigs go and like jump into water. It reminded me of that. And I wonder, here's the thing, I think we're all feeling a little crazy right now. I think right now we're just feeling a lot of sensitivity. Like, that's okay.
Yeah.
Like, that's okay. And you're okay. If you're feeling that way, you're okay. So I've been seeing like something everywhere I turn, you know what I mean? And that's usually just my coat. When we talk about liberation, we talk about liberation that Jesus brings. Jesus brings a type of liberation where we're free because we know that we're loved. The moment I think I was the freest, I think the day that I really started being like, I'm free, was the day when I realized there is nothing I can do to make God love you more, and there's nothing I can do to make God love you less. And that is one of the most liberating things that you can take on for yourself.
I guess touching on like the more like mystical side of things, like my Catholic mystic self, I think that this like experience kind of just made me reflect on like spiritual warfare and how like when we are going through crisis and we're going through hardship, how, I mean, we are physical, mental, and spiritual beings. I would say that, I mean, I feel like it's definitely important to pray right now. I think that you don't need a funny noise outside to tell you that there's spiritual warfare going on. All you need is Jesus to tell you that that's going on.
There's a really good book on it that I think we should link. It's called God at War. I'm pretty sure it's by Gregory Boyd. And also Reviving Old Scratch.
Oh yeah, he lent me that book, and Reviving Old Scratch is a really good book for people who maybe are not like as into like the mystical stuff as maybe I am.
Maybe you are, because I read it and I was into it.
I felt like it was good for people who are more skeptical.
That's the topic I feel most uncomfortable with like my stances on.
Yeah.
Because I don't really have I never have a solid answer. I definitely have days where I'm leaning one side or the other, but I think it will help people who are maybe struggling and who maybe want to think about it in a nuanced way. And I think that, especially, it's a good book if you care about justice. The book is targeted towards
progressive Christians. Something that I've found is that I tend to be more mystical, and I believe in more spiritual warfare stuff than a lot of other progressive Christians around me. And I think that that's something that also I guess my Catholic identity comes out a lot with that. It's not that I throw away my mind, because the church hasn't either, but the Catholic Church has a lot of theology and a lot of resources when it comes to spiritual warfare. It's seen as being very much real within the Catholic Church. There's not really a question of it. That's also why I'm Catholic too, is it's because I align with that, because for me, I believe full-heartedly that it exists.
That's another reason I'm Episcopalian. I'm a person who's I want it to be both and. The subject of the devil or anything like that is very much a both and, where I'm
for you, yeah.
That I have a pretty nuanced view of it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of Catholic theologians too, but I think that the Episcopal Church even goes a step further in being
you can believe how much you want to believe about it.
Yeah, and I think that resonates with a lot of people. I prefer kind of the structure of the church being oh, we're doing this in a unified way, but it just literally all depends on what flavor of Christianity is working for you. This is
maybe maybe it's not funny. Maybe you have found a way to work it out if this is you. Again, we're not mocking this person. There's a person in my life who is a dear friend.
Yeah.
Who does not really believe in the devil in any sort of
personal way,
but has a deep devotion to Michael the Archangel. And I have a devotion to Michael the Archangel too, but this is a person who I would say has a greater devotion, and yet
not believe
this is a person who says the chaplet of St. Michael every day, and
they don't believe in the devil.
Oh my gosh, the conversations that I've had with this person have been hilarious. I'm okay with paradox to a certain extent.
I think that just the topic of spiritual warfare is so interesting to a lot of people. I do believe in the mystical side of stuff, both the good and the bad. I also believe in superstition. Superstition is a thing, and anxiety can make us become very superstitious.
But look, if it's a passing thing, don't worry about it. It doesn't make you dumb.
No, it does not make you dumb.
It doesn't make you uneducated. It doesn't make you any of this. It just means that you're a human being, and guess what? Human beings are naturally superstitious. Not to say that these rituals are without actual power. There are still days when I hear a noise and I make the sign of the cross. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm
I do
oh,
that
what
too.
was that? And not because I'm superstitious or because I think it's something, but just because it's an instinct, and we do what we can to protect ourselves against the unknown. That's
the instinct that protected our ancestors from being eaten by saber-toothed cats.
Yes. So. Oh, and your cat will still eat you.
Again, thank you so much for watching. Please consider supporting me on my Patreon. As a small creator, I'm currently not monetized, so any donation would help the platform out a lot. Please follow Jameson on Instagram. He makes a lot of really cool posts. If you're unable to donate, that's totally okay. You can still help the platform by liking, sharing, and just leaving your thoughts in the comment section below. Especially, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think that it was a car? Do you think that it was a demon screech?
Do you think it's a car full of cats? What are some things that you do when you're superstitious?
Well, thank you so much, guys, for watching. I'm Cassidy. I'm the Hippie Catholic. God bless you.